I met a gypsy.
What was your take on the Jets' perfect season based on the numbers?
Oh man, I mean,
Was it a legit perfect season?
oh yeah,
bro. Was it even legit?
yeah. I mean, I don't think you can put a single asterisk next to it.
I don't either. I'm of that opinion.
Yeah, like I heard some people say stuff like, "Oh, Eli wasn't there," and it's like, dude, Sexton was, and Sexton and Eli went. Like, I think it's. Yeah,
I think it's apples and apples.
Yeah,
almost.
I think it's perfect. I think, I've heard other people say, "Oh, it was 11, not 12 rounds," and it's like, dude, whatever. Just get off the nut. I think it was impressive. Like a
rookie.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, a perfect season. Amazing, right? RC, the fact that RC did twice, frankly, RC went on a run for about 4 years where he won like 90%.
Almost everything. Yeah.
Like, here's one of the stats I love. RC has won more second motos than anybody's won total motos. Ponder that one.
Bro.
Dude, it's literally like RC's numbers. Like, yeah, you need to get RC in here and just, and pepper him with numbers. I love giving him numbers. He's like, dude, the only number that matters is championships. Thank you very much. But
that's mental.
Yes, it is like second. You just like, there's things like that. It's the way they're framing it, right? The way you visualize it makes a huge difference. His second moto wins beat everybody's total moto wins. Like, it's like, just a mind-numbing amount of moto wins. And he had like a 4 or 5 year period that was just absolutely incredible. Stu, like, come on. I mean, that dude is just, his speed, even when a guy like RC constantly gives the respect of, listen, I knew he had me covered on the speed, and I knew it was going to be strategy that was going to, in fitness, that was going to, ultimately, I was going to beat him by that, right? Not necessarily beat him straight up on speed on his
That's
good
actually
nights.
a good point to my Cooper Webb thing. Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky kind of had that and the speed.
Yep.
Because he had to, there actually was a period of time where he wasn't the fastest.
Yeah.
So actually, the things I said about Cooper and like no one else kind of haven't, Ricky actually had that for a certain amount of time.
And they both have the hate to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Both those guys, the last thing they want to do is lose. Like, their hatred for that is probably significantly greater than their love of winning.
For sure.
It just drove them. Anyhow, those guys, like, perfect season's absolutely amazing. Okay, so Jett now joins them as like, and you think about him joining those two names.
Just that.
Right? Like, that's impressive. And then to do it as a rookie. Like, it's like, what? Like, that, I mean, rookies don't do that. Especially now when you've got so many veterans on the line, when you've got so much talent and so many wins on the line. And I'll take a bunch of heat from all the veterans that will say you're full of shit, that it's harder now. But I don't think there's a single asterisk next to it. I think it's absolutely amazing. The data, his lap times, his speed, absolutely incredible. He did it kind of like Stu did it, with absolute raw speed, and just beat his competition handily in every category of the races. And that just is, it's indicative of how talented that dude is.
Was there any, so there was just like clear standout, like second faster, second and a half faster through this section? Like, there was a couple of motos, like Southwick was one that I remember. I think maybe like Ferrandis had a good start, Sexton had a good start, Jett was in like 4th or 3rd, and just like jumped past him on the first lap. And that was like, I remember people saying like, yo, he makes it look so easy. And it's like, that's because in one section, he did something so insane, like alien shit, that then he didn't have to do anything else gnarly for the rest of the moto.
Yeah, and a track like Southwick's going to play to his
strengths.
Right? Yeah. Like, just that place is, I grew up in Massachusetts and rode there, unfortunately, so many times in that sand disaster, and just, God, it's just brutal. It's just so brutal. But it just gets so whooped out. And just the way he glides across the top, and you can just see the small little things that he's doing when he's entering into braking bumps. And I think it just played to his strengths. And his season as a whole, every number, there's nothing in there that was a weakness.
Yeah. Do you think Eli coming into this outdoor season changes that?
I don't. This is the place where you hear it on the podium in Nashville from Eli, where he's like, "Hey, I had it." I've used this quote in writing a script this week. He said something about having it at the beginning of it. I put my entire heart into it, and man, I didn't have it at the end of the race. And you can tell he's alluding to I didn't have the fitness at the end of the race. Or at least I think that's what he's implying to it. And I think he's implied that a few times, like, you know what, maybe I wasn't full force coming back from the injury and it's going to take some time to build. My worry is, hey, that's round 14 of 17 and he's still not, and he's almost there, but he's still not entirely there. So he's got another, what are we talking, 6 weeks? Not even, it's like 30 days until the pro motocross season starts.
Where that could just potentially get exposed more.
Yeah, and like 30 plus 2 it's a grind. Now, granted, it's Eli Tomac, and the outdoors is where Eli is just he's a real man, right? So maybe he's there, but man, Jett's only going to get better. That was a rookie year, right? Like rookie years aren't your best year. I always say that the first time you do something is not the best time you do it. Like, show me something you did in your life where the first time you did it the absolute best you've ever done it and will ever do it again. Like, the answer is there's nothing.
Yeah.
And so rookie year is the first time you ever did it. So like what Jett's done in the last 12 months, you have to assume he's going to progress and get better from there. That means everybody else is going to have to get that much better. Right? They not only are going to get their own that much better, but then they have to actually close the gap in performance to Jett. That's a tall task to ask. So I don't know that it changes for the outdoors. I think it's compelling to start to think about Jett, and like, I'll get chastised for this, but like, it's compelling to ponder.
You're in a safe place.
Yeah. Can't wait to post this online. In a safe place. I'll give you a ring when.
It wasn't safe, bro.
Here's some DMs. They hate me. The privateers have abandoned any.
They're just NPCs, bro. They're just NPCs. Just forget about them.
But you got to look at this now, and like, with all due respect, like, we should celebrate as he progresses. Right. I think MC did say it nicely in terms of like, hey, there's a lot of guys between me and where Jett is today. And it's like, yes, there is. And we should celebrate as he progresses along that path. And when he gets closer, we should talk about it. But you have to look at Jett's progress right now and think that that's an interesting conversation for us to have. And in pro motocross, the same thing has to be said to RC. Right? Like, he just won 22 motos in 11 races. Like, it's a pretty big chunk. RC's outdoor stuff is ridiculous, right? Like, it makes everything else in the sport look like nothing, right? More second moto wins than anybody else's moto wins. And so, like, on one hand, you got to look at that as even more untouchable than, say, the 72 wins in Supercross, right? But he just started his rookie. Yeah, and so, like, I don't know, I'll instigate the minions, like, I think you got to have that conversation, or at least we're going to have to start to have that conversation. I think it's fun at a minimum. I'm going to love to just stir the pot. Like, let's have the conversation. Like, what does it take to do that? Let's celebrate the guys that he's going to pass and come close to, right? Like, his 6th win, he just tied Barsh's career win total. He's 31st all time already on the Supercross wins list, right? Like, cool. Let's celebrate Barsha now. 6 wins. Hey, that, like, 6 wins is pretty badass, right?
Yeah, and there's only 35 other dudes that have ever done it.
Yeah. It's like, that's incredible. So, anyhow, I think he's going to do some damage on the record books. And, yeah, the key will just be how long can he do it, right?
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.